Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to another guitar lesson. Today it's the 7th chords. Some of these are kind of fun and interesting, and well, one particular is a bit of a nightmare, but you gotta learn these things, right? All right, so let's start out with the simple. We're gonna go in alphabetical order: A, B, C, D, F, G. A7, take your third finger, okay, so the one beside your pinky, and you're gonna slam that little sucker here down on the B string. Okay, on the 2nd fret. Then you're going to take your second finger and you're going to put it on the 2nd fret of the D string. So again, 3rd finger, 2nd fret B, 2nd finger, 2nd fret D. 4 strings. Because it is an A formation chord and an A type of chord, you could add in the A open note above the A string, rounding it off a little bit more, giving it some extra body, maybe taking some of that bite off. Learn both ways though, okay? You'll find that out in later lessons why we need to learn to do it with and without that A open note, okay? Now the next one's a little bit more complicated, but not all that bad, is the B7. Okay, now that we're gonna start with our first finger, and we're gonna put that first finger on our D string on the 1st fret. We're gonna take the 2nd finger and we're gonna put it on the 2nd fret A string. Our 3rd finger is gonna go down onto the G string on the 2nd fret, and then our pinky also on the 2nd fret, but down on the E string, so your bottom string. Okay, and it's just the 5 strings, not 6, because that's an open E above. We don't want to add that in. Okay, so one more time here. 1st finger goes on the 1st fret of the D, 2nd finger, 2nd fret A, 3rd finger, 2nd fret G, and 4th finger, 2nd fret E. Now that's our B7, all right? Next one is a C7. Now, you already by now know your C chord, especially if you've been watching my videos in order and learning in order. Okay, so we're gonna have 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A. We're going to put our next finger, okay, which is our 2nd finger, down on the 2nd fret of our D string, and our 1st finger is going to go down on the 1st fret of the B. So that's our C. And remember, this is 5 strings. But to complete this chord and turn it into a C7 or a 7th chord, in this case, C7, we're going to take our pinky and we're going to put it down on the G string on the 3rd fret. Piece of cake, right? So, one more time. 3rd finger, 3rd fret, A. 2nd finger, 2nd fret, D. 1st finger, 1st fret, B. And 4th finger, 3rd fret, G. Remember, 5 strings. Now, our next one is going to be a D7. Okay, and for that, you put your 1st finger on the B string, okay, on the 1st fret. Your 2nd finger goes on the 2nd fret of the G, and your 3rd finger goes on the 2nd fret of the E string. Now, for this chord, you can use the open D or not. Learn both ways. We'll get to that in future videos, why you need to learn 2 variations of doing it 2 different ways, okay? So, here we've got 4, and then the main is 3. Okay, and that's your D7. Piece of cake, okay? E7. You will at times get mixed up between an E7 and an E minor 7. We'll take a look at that on another video, but we're going to start out with going with the E7, because that's what we're talking about today, and it's going to be on the A string of the 2nd fret with your 2nd finger, and your 1st finger goes over to the G string on the 1st fret. Now for this you can use all 6, but it is preferable to use only the 5, because that's a proper E7, okay? So one more time, we've got our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A. We've got our 1st finger on the 1st fret of the G. That's our E. Now for the nightmare. This one is called an F7. Rarely used, at least in my experience of over 40 years, I've rarely ever had to use an F7 period, okay? And the F chords are slightly hated among guitar players. The one main F, I don't know why, but this one I can definitely understand it because it's a really hard one to do. And it's a rarity you ever have to worry about this. But doing it the basic way, which is actually considered to be the simpler way, you're going to take your 1st finger and you're going to cover all 4 bottom strings, okay, with your 1st finger. Then you're going to take your 2nd finger and you're going to put it on the 2nd fret of the G string, okay? And this is going to be a really weird one to do and a lot of pressure for this one. And you got to get just the right angle too. Again, so rare, I never really use it. And you got to work out where that finger belongs on the 1st fret. Now you could, I suppose, cheat and do it this way, if it's more comfortable. But you got to still work out that angle. And it's very difficult to do this on acoustic. It's a walk in the park on an electric because electrics don't even require hardly any pressure at all. They tend to have a very low action on them, unless you're a high action player. But you know, acoustics are definitely generally always a much higher action than an electric and thicker strings, which means more pressure too. And that's why the F7 is such a royal pain to do, even doing it this way. So doing it as an advanced chord, it's not a huge walk in the park either. So, but just remember, you got to bar all 4 of them on the bottom, and then you got to get that 2nd finger in there, and you're okay with that. So A, B, C, D, E, F, we only got one left, G7. Okay, now if you know a G, you're going to recognize this pretty quick. You're going to need the 2nd finger here, or sorry, the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the E. You're going to need your 2nd finger, 2nd fret A. Now, you're not going to need your pinky this time down on the E string, okay? So we're not doing a G, we're doing a G7. So what we need is our 1st finger down on the 1st fret of that E string. And it's all 6 strings. Now, can you sub out a G for a G7? Well, it kind of depends on who you have in your band and if you have 2 guitar players or not. And if you have 2 guitar players, you can kind of fake it because they'll do the regular G7 and you do the G. And you could probably fake that. But if you're playing solo or you're the only guitar player, and you have other instruments to be worried about, especially a piano player, yeah, you're not faking it. You're going to learn the G7 and do it right, because otherwise you're going to throw everything right out the window. So, all right. Anyways, 3rd finger, 3rd fret, E. 2nd finger, 2nd fret, A. 1st finger, 1st fret, E. All 6 strings. Like I said, because of how rare you'll ever come across an F7 in itself, I haven't even played this chord like hardly ever, literally. I've never needed it. And an F7 can be faked out a lot of times for a straight regular F major chord. Okay, so you can do that semi-bar F, which is the easiest F to do, where it's just barring the two bottom ones. We've covered this in a video already, right, with the F chord. So you just bar these two, and then you do your F. And you can pretty much fake an F7 that way. If you listen to the difference, you're barring that, you're letting that go. It's almost the same. It's enough that you can literally get away with it. And I'll tell you, anytime that I see an F7 show up, I will usually choose, if the situation allows, to use the regular F instead, because it's hard to, unless you're really doing this a lot with this F7, it's going to be a little bit of an interesting changeover between chords from the previous chord into that F7, and it's faster and simpler to just do the F. Okay, so it's not that huge of a deal. Just remember, when it comes to theory, especially with chords and key signatures, right? You can manipulate a lot of stuff and get away with it, and nobody's none the wiser. But there are some things you just can't escape around, okay? I mean, literally. So some things you're going to have to learn whether you want to or not, because, yeah, nobody likes to do, even a regular F, because it's the most hated F ever, and it's a bar chord, right? But, well, this is an F2, and it's not a bar chord, it's a semi-bar. And if you listen to the difference, it's just a bit of a difference, and it's nothing to write home about. Besides, an F, as far as I'm concerned, is still an F as long as we're talking F. But when you get into like major, sevenths, and minors, and so on, there's differences, right? But this is an F7 that we're talking about here. And though it's not the easiest thing in the world to accomplish, with enough practice, you can definitely do it. Bang, 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 bang. So why do we have an advanced F7 chord, you're going to wonder, or any advanced chords? Because they're needed for different types of tones, right? And different variations, right? So you're going to need to have a good, well-versed chord knowledge in order to get the right or correct tone for the atmosphere of the song, etc., and how it's done. It's kind of like, just as a quick example, and then we're out of here. If you take an E chord, right? Basic E. Now, that's a great voicing to use with a lot of songs. But what if you want a completely different atmosphere? Well, this is where we can go up here to an E, and we can do this E as a power chord. But instead of just strumming the 3, which you can do, I like to add in some extra zip to it, so. And you're not going to get that sound down here. This is why you learn different variations of, like, all the E's, all the A, B, C, D, F, G's, and the majors, the minors, the sevenths, and etc., etc. That's why we need these chords. We need different voicings of them, right? So same as if you want to do a C chord here, right, as a power chord, as they call them, right? You can go 3, or you can go with something like that. And you can do that sort of thing, right? And it's going to give you a different alternate voicing. Same as your D. You can put more into it or less into it. So anyway, there you go. So that's your 7th chords and a little bit of extra fun for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a big thumbs up and let me know in the comments how you're progressing as well. Remember, there is a playlist and specific to just these lessons that you can check out. You can go back and forth, whatever you need to do. Anyways, that's it. That's all. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.